the latest in a string of 9 different QBs Denver has gone with since Peyton Manning retired after Super Bowl 50. So, Shannon, I got to ask you, is John Elway still in search of a franchise quarterback?
Absolutely. And it's the hardest position to identify and get, develop in any professional sport.
Yeah, John Elway is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the history of this league.
And he can't seem to find what that can get them to where they need to be. And Drew Lock is not it, Skip. He makes too many mistakes.
Totally agree.
He makes entirely too many mistakes, and people have bought in to them falling behind by 25 points and him throwing a couple of touchdowns late and says, yeah, he has that in him. But, Skip, he's a one-read guy. And if that guy's not open, he's more apt to make a terrible decision. Like, they're going down the field. Their first drive, Skip, they're going right down the field. Run the ball, passing, and then all of a sudden he wants to throw across his body to a guy that's covered by Honey Badger. What?
Bad idea.
It's just, he's not the answer. And until you find that, because they got skill position. I love Jeudy. I love Patrick. I love Hamburg. They can run the ball decent. Garrett Bowles has turned into a top tackle, but it's just a quarterback. I don't care. And you look at their defense. Now, they're doing this without Vaughn, who's their best player. They're doing this without Jarrell Casey, who's one of their better players on the defense.
Agreed.
But I don't care how good you are in what other areas, you can't overcome bad quarterback play. That's the one, Skip, I can hide everything else. If I got a weak lineman, I can slide, I can chip. If I got a weak corner, I can roll coverage. I can't hide my quarterback because he takes the snap every single time.
Agreed. I did not like Drew Lock when he was at Missouri, coming out in the draft. I like him less now. And they seem to like him less now because there was a crucial 4th down late in that game, you recall, when they decided to punt the ball back to Patrick Mahomes, which is not a great idea.
Especially at 50. I think he was up plus 50.
Yeah. And you're just telling me I don't trust him to get us, I think it was 4th and 3.
Yes.
Maybe? Yeah. Okay. I don't trust him to get 3 yards. My first thought at the end of that game, and I tweeted about this, you can laugh if you want, but I believe Tim Tebow would have won that game in his prime back in 2011. That was a silver platter Tim Tebow kind of game where they just say, go, do it. Run that read option. Just whatever you have to do. Get the 3 yards. Let's go score. Let's beat these guys. That's what he kept doing through 2011. John did not love Tim Tebow. He inherited Tim Tebow, obviously, and he said, let's get this experiment over with. When they went to Miami for an early season game, they're 1-4, and Tebow won the game in overtime. And here they went, and they ended up winning the division, beating Ben Roethlisberger in a home playoff game, and you know the rest of the story. Then guess who knocked on John's door? Peyton Manning, who had been pushed out the back door in Indianapolis. He comes to Elway. He's like, hey, can I play? Yeah, you can play for us, sure. Was Peyton a better choice than Tim Tebow? Yes, as big a Tebow fan as I was. Peyton Manning, you got a shot at him? And I know they said for a while he couldn't even throw the ball across the room, you know, like with his neck
10
injury.
yards.
Yeah, but he bounced back, and he should have won 2 MVPs, I thought, and he won you a Super Bowl. You know the rest of the story. It put John Elway on the map that he had as a GM.
But a lot of times what happens, Skip, is that when you get quarterbacks like a John Elway, like a Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, is that they never miss, and you don't really think about getting guys, because Russell Wilson was also in that draft. And so you got Peyton in free agency. You could have, but you settled for Brock Osweiler. And you settle for a Paxton Lynch. And you try to get all these guys, Skip, and until you get this, until you solve that position, nothing else matters. Look at Buffalo. Buffalo had defenses, had all the, until they settled on Josh Allen. You look at Cleveland, until you get a quarterback, I don't care what other positions you have and how great they are. Without that one, you're not winning in the NFL.
Remember, Buffalo drafted E.J. Manuel out of Florida State. Didn't work.
Nope. He lasted, what, a year? Maybe 2? Until you get that position. And John, Skip, the way the rules are set up, and everybody plays in space, Drew Lock is last in completion percentage at 55%. Do you know how bad you got to be dead last? in completion percentage?
I got it. So John Elway is turning into the Michael Jordan of NFL GMs because you would think Michael could pick players, but he can't pick players in Charlotte. Obviously.
Well, John is picking players. He just can't pick that player.
But it's the position he should know the best, and he just can't find one. And he's evaluating them, and he says, oh, I think Paxton Lynch can play. No, he can't play.
No. Okay. No, he couldn't. Brock Osweiler. Yeah. Skip, you should have known. Anytime a quarterback gets 6'7", let it go. Damn, look at every quarterback that's been 6'7". Go back and look it up and look at it, check his resume.
Yep.
Dan McGuire, Mark McGuire's brother, Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler, the taller, the sorrier. So, but Drew Lock ain't it.
Nope. Agreed.
Okay, guys, get this. The numbers are in from Mike Tyson's return to the ring, and I'm not going to lie, they're pretty shocking. We'll tell you what it means for Tyson's future.
Wow.
Break.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy, and I won't back.
The Bills beat the 49ers last night, 34-24, to improve to 9-3 on the season. And after a shaky first quarter, Buffalo scored 17 straight in the second quarter and never looked back. Josh Allen had his best game since week 2, throwing 4 touchdowns with no interceptions while completing 80% of his passes against the Niners defense. So Shannon, should Allen have gone #1 overall in the 2018 draft instead of Baker Mayfield?
Well, Skip, it's easy to say that now because it looks like he has the best upside. He's the second most athletic quarterback in the draft behind Lamar, but I believe his arm is the best in the draft class. So if you look at it and says that now, but if I were to take, let's just say for the sake of argument, Skip, he went to a Power 5 school. With his tools, there's no question in my mind he's the #1 pick in the draft. No question in my mind, but it was because he went to Wyoming. Because, Skip, I mean, you see the throws that he's making. He can move and throw the ball on the move like a much smaller. You don't realize how big he is. He's 6'5.5", easy 240, and he has a cannon for an arm.
He does.
And the thing that you always concern yourself with, Skip, with a guy that has a strong arm is his accuracy. Because sometimes the ball, he's throwing it so hard, the ball sails on him, and it gets away from him. But he made a throw last night on an end cut, what we call a dagger route, where he threw the ball over Fred Warner.
Yeah.
Skip, not very many quarterbacks can make that throw. Not very many quarterbacks have the moxie to say, you know what, I can get it there. And when you look at him, his legs, his ability to throw on the move, the ability to throw in the pocket, to get off a script, Skip, knowing what we know now, it's easy to say that. But I believe had he gone to a Power 5 school, he would have been the #1 pick in the draft. And that was the only reason that he wasn't, is because he went to Wyoming. He's from Ohio State, Michigan, or one of these, like I said, any Power 5 school. With that kind of talent, Skip, he's going #1. He's going #1. He's Drew Bledsoe. More athletic, big arm, because Skip, Drew could throw it 80 yards, but he's more mobile than Drew.
Way more.
So, yeah, Skip, I'm impressed. I mean, he has the third time this year, Skip, he's had 3 games with 375, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions.
Yep.
You talk about Big Ben in the MVP discussion, you might need to mention him.
Okay, so I told you before the year, I love the Bills. I wish I'd had the guts to pick the Bills to win the AFC because I picked Lamar and company just because I thought they were due. They were right on the precipice, and I thought it was going to be Lamar's.
You picked them as a playoff team?
I did.
You want to pick the Bills to win the AFC? The whole shebang?
Yeah.
Get to Tampa.
No, I was thinking about it before the year. I told you that on opening day whenever we picked, on the Friday before the opener. Okay, now back to Josh Allen. He had an extraordinary game last night. That's just like you didn't do a whole lot wrong in that game.
He didn't.
The knock on him, the concern that I still have about him is his accuracy because the arm is so big. And I watched him one game at Wyoming. I think it was against Boise State. I think it was, but now I'm not sure about that.
Right.
But he was shaky. His body language was shaky. He wasn't sure of himself. So his rookie year, he completed 53% of his passes, not good enough.
Not good.
But he improved to 59% a year ago, not bad.
Right.
Working hard on it.
Right.
And now he's all the way up to 70%. I think it ranks 4th in the league right now.
You can live with that.
That'll work.
Yeah.
He's had some shaky games this year, but his accuracy has been mostly pretty consistently on target.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to give you that. But I'm not going to back off on Baker because Baker has turned it back around. So I'm going to stick with what I thought before the draft, You might move Josh Allen up however high you want to.
Right, because he went 7th, so you say you take him 2nd.
Okay, you would. And you like Sam Darnold. I didn't, but now I think we're both pretty much still out on Sam Darnold, right?
I'm more out on Adam Gase than I am Sam Darnold.
Well, you could make that case. But obviously, Josh Allen was the second, to me, just barely the second best quarterback in the draft. So let's look at what has happened to Baker Mayfield. He had a terrific rookie year. I look at the Pro Football Focus grades. You hate Pro Football Focus right now, but again, their rookie grade on him was one of the best they've ever had for a rookie in limited time.
Right.
But he has faced and had to live with and deal with coaching chaos right from the start. Hugh Jackson says during Hard Knocks his rookie year, I know you're the first pick in the draft, but you're not going to start for me. I'm going with Tyrod. Remember this?
Yes.
And then Hugh ends up getting fired sort of midstream, and then Baker's furious with Hugh, and he's pointing at him when they're winning at Cincinnati.